nice to see you on the other side of the break. Thanks for sticking with us on Lowcountry Money Talk. So, Phil, we were discussing before the break some ways that retirees can cope with inflation.
Yes.
I'm sure we're all trying to cope with inflation, quite frankly. But we're celebrating a year. We have a year under our belt. Are we celebrating? Congress passed into law August of 2022 the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yes.
Let's unpack that a little bit for folks.
So, as usual, the name has nothing to do with the bill itself.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it was good at the time because inflation was about 9%. So it's like, well, if we call this the Inflation Reduction Act, we can punch in all of this garbage that we want, you know, for this bridge project or that or whatever it may be.
Who wouldn't want to pass the Inflation Reduction Act?
Oh, we tried to get inflation under control, but Jessa wouldn't vote for it. It's a big spending bill.
Yeah.
And it was put to us at, you know, just being hundreds of billions, I say just, and it's going to end up being over $1 trillion in spending. So
I don't know about you, but that sounds like a lot of money.
that's a lot of money. So recently, President Biden had said, boy, I wish I wouldn't have called it the Inflation Reduction Act because it has little to do with inflation. I'm thinking his people might have wished he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a green energy bill. So, you know, the green energy, and they're like, well, hey, it must be working. Inflation went down. Well, inflation's at 3% year over year what it was last year. So add the two together, 9 and 3, and it's actually more, and then your cost of living. But with the 3% number is because energy had taken a big dip. So in the next reports we get, we're going to see where that oil prices have gone up. And we might see that inflation go up again, and the Federal Reserve is going to hate to see that.
Yeah.
Because they've been raising interest rates. While they're raising interest rates, Congress should actually stop spending trillions of dollars.
That would be good,
because
right?
they're going against each other. It's like oil and water, but you know.
Yeah, this is just also tricky too because it's things that are easy to sort of mask with some of these terms. You're talking about this bill and its name, and then we say, well, inflation was reduced, but that doesn't mean that prices were reduced. No. Prices went up, even though they didn't go up as quickly or as much as they did the prior year. So it's all just really tricky. And for those who are retiring or are retired, you really need to take a look at your expenses. You mentioned taxes, fees, all these different things. So on the show, we've talked about before the free Revolutionary Wealth Review.
Yes.
This is a deep dive that your team takes people on. And I would love for you to tell us what is involved in that, what is included, how does it work?
Sure. So during the review, the first thing we're going to do is just gather data. So we're going to say, hey, bring in everything we need to see. We have software to analyze long-term taxes, the investments that you're in, their fees and expenses, all of these things. Most people, even people that have been retired for decades, they have a plan maybe in their mind. They think they have a plan, but do they really have a plan? So we want to ask a lot of questions, Jessa, to make sure it's like, what do you want in retirement?
Right.
You know, we need to look at the income. Okay, did we do an income plan? Maybe not. Okay, so then we need to do an income plan. That's something we'll do in a review as well. Then you're like, well, okay, we did the income plan. We did the assessment of your assets to see what your fees and expenses were.
We talked about that before the break. That can be significant and eye-opening that you find out in that review, for sure.
We did the taxes and expenses, or the tax report to see where are you taking your money. So those are 3 things.
Yeah.
But it's a process. And the beginning, we gather, like I said, we gathered the data. The second meeting, we're going to kind of go over that with you. And if you want us to move forward, then we'll take even several more meetings and get everything laid out. It's worth the time to invest in your retirement. Give me as much time to get your retirement right as you plan on your next vacation.
Yes.
A few days, 3 or 4 days, give me that. You know, you'll be surprised what we can do.
It's true. Another thing that I think is eye-opening in this process, at least that I learned, is that there is a big difference between a portfolio and a plan.
Yes.
Having a portfolio and having a plan are very different items.
So I'm going to be technical for just a second.
Yeah.
So I have a large group of stuff. Financial stuff.
Financial
funds, stocks, this and that. But how does that go into your plan?
Right.
So it's like, oh, I see you have this fund. Tell me how that fits into your plan. You're not going to know.
Yeah.
You know, well, I'm hoping it goes up. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, hoping and having a plan, very different. So I know we got to go to break. I didn't mean to throw that one at you right beforehand, but it's just such an important distinction to make. We've got more. Stick with us.